Mm. Mm. So we was in a meditation station yesterday, and we started jumping into Maccabees through the Spirit, and it was kind of like decent
Mm-hmm.
timing. You were just talking about you said something in Maccabees about getting ready for or start preparing for Hanukkah. Then like the
Mm-hmm.
conversation we was having, it led us to Maccabees, and it might be a thing where we just keep kind of like reading different parts of Maccabees in the meditation station here lately, here in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
And then the brothers was like, "Man, you should do a lesson over Maccabees and break bread on it." I was like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. We could do an introduction. We could introduce certain terms, certain people, certain things to look out for. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was thinking we could do today. Because Maccabees, I was kind of telling Akim, Maccabees is a puzzle within itself. You know how the whole Bible is a puzzle. You got to string, Isaiah up, but with other prophets, and then you go, you got to have them precepts. I was like, bro, Maccabees is its own in itself. It's not in order. It's not what you think. And your brother started understanding that yesterday. Shalom, we got Shawab in here. Shalom. So first and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem, and Mashiach Yahushua. And today we're going to try our best to give y'all like an overview of kind of some of the overview of what we know about the Book of Maccabees, the people you need to know, um, time frames, um, dates.
Bro, I can actually. I'm actually finna join on my iPad. Not my iPad. I'm sorry. My laptop.
So you share your screen.
Yeah, because there's some stuff we can show.
Yeah, I was actually gonna start pulling up stuff myself. Hasmonean Dynasty. Yes, sir. What else? So we got the Hasmonean Dynasty. You know what? I'll share my screen for now. Shalom, we got Yeshai. Tribe of Judah, Shalom King. All right, I
I'm in
added
the
you up.
background.
Let's see.
Can you hear me?
That again?
Say, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can. That's what I want. Um, when that daddy shark gets you, you got. Because then the mama shark gonna get you. Then the baby shark gonna get you. Everybody gonna get you. we're gonna kind of give y'all some of the stuff we know.
Say something, Mark.
Yo,
All right, hold on. Say something again.
yo,
All right, bet. I got my AirPods connected to the laptop, so I'm in business. I got a decent looking Britannica pulled up. You know what Britannica is, yeah, the website.
yeah, I'm aware of it.
Familiar?
You might have to pull out that Jewish virtual library when you think about it.
Yeah, for real.
Mm. Oh yeah, let's see what's going on, man. All praise to the Most High. So, I don't plan on diving into the Book of Maccabees and reading a lot of like reading a chapter and nothing yet. This is just an intro to Maccabees. Some of the people, some of the things you should be aware of, I should say. So it's not right. Yesterday we read like 30 chapters in First Maccabees, the first chapter, and bro, we broke a lot of bread. It was a lot of stuff going on. So for people who missed out on that, and he said he doubled back on Daniel chapter 8 today. It hit different. Did you get some understanding? Did you feel like you understood some of the stuff that was going on? God. Daniel chapter 8 is going over what happens in the book of Maccabees. All right, so I see you got your screen too. What happens if I pull yours up? Okay, it just drops mine down. Awesome. Say something, not. You're on mute. I think whenever I put your screen up there, it took mine. I mean, it took your voice off. Say something. Say something. Yeah, I still can't hear you if you're saying
Can you hear me
something.
now?
Yeah, I can now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Laptop tripping. I don't know.
I
But
know it was like a lag.
you
I
want me to
don't
start reading
know
on this bad boy? Well,
what you got. What you got?
it's definitely a delay.
Mm. Isaiah Shalom, kind of operators of Shawab. We're gonna dive in there in Daniel chapter 8 at some point, but I don't know when. And Don Shalom family. So y'all get ready. This is gonna be a good introduction. It's gonna be a lot of information. It's gonna be a lot of information. We got a lot of Aharons up here. Let's see. Hmm.
You hear me, dog?
Yeah, you sound perfect.
What I was gonna do, what I was gonna do is just keep my screen on the live through my laptop, but speak to you through here because it's kind of like a delay um
Okay.
on my laptop if I was to speak through that. So I wasn't gonna speak through that.
Okay, I understand now. I understand. It makes sense. Okay, so the Book of Maccabees, man. It is obviously a powerful, powerful book, jammed packed with tons of information, and it's hard to understand for a few reasons. One of them being when you read First and Second Maccabees, it jumps in and out of time. There might be a better way for me to explain that, but it's not a it's you it's not like it's the Bible. It's like the whole Bible. When you read the whole Bible, you'll read Genesis, you'll read the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. These things are still kind of in order. Then you'll jump to them Joshua, then Judges, then Ruth, and they're not super far out of order, but then you'll get to the prophets, and then this prophet is here in time, the Babylonian captivity. Then behind him, it'll talk about the damn Assyrians, and then here you'll talk about the Greeks, and it's not exactly in order like a normal novel, right? Everyone's aware of that. So what I'm trying to say is that Maccabees follows that same suit. Like in Maccabees chapter 1, you'll start off reading about Alexander and how he died. Alexander the Great, this guy. You'll start off reading about him. Then a few lines later, what happened, it'll jump like 3 generations into the future. It'll jump to Antiochus and it'll start giving you the breakdown on what's going on with Antiochus. And you'll keep reading and you'll see it jump back into the past. Instead of going forward in the future, it'll jump into the past. Then you'll get to Second Maccabees thinking that still going forward in the future, but no, it'll jump to the future and then it'll jump back to the past. Like one of the things I showed the Kings yesterday is that First Maccabees, when you read it, it's jam packed with a lot of history. But when you read Second Maccabees chapter 4, Second Maccabees chapter 5, it coincides with a lot of things that's going on early in First Maccabees chapter 1. So these are reasons like when you read Second Maccabees. Let me see if I can show y'all real quick. Pull out my old apocrypha right here. Give me 1 second, because I would rather show y'all. Okay. So I'm gonna pull up this real quick. Let's go to
Did we open up? If not, go ahead and open up.
yeah, I opened up. I thought this bad
Alright.
boy had the thing. Okay, this is what I want. So when you go to Second Maccabees, watch this. Second Maccabees chapter 2, verse 32. So everyone should know about the book of this book right here. Ecclesiasticus. When you go to Ecclesiasticus, it starts off with this, a prologue. And the prologue, it kind of prefaces before you get to Sirach chapter 1. It kind of tells you how this book was made, what this book is about, who wrote it, who all had a part in writing it, what this book is mainly for. It'll give you an intro to the book of Sirach. That's what the prologue is. It's an intro for the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, right? Same thing, same name. Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, same thing. But it's just the introduction to that book. Now, the introduction, a lot of people don't notice, but when you go to Second Maccabees chapter 2, it's an introduction also. But the damn prologue is not in First Maccabees. In the beginning of First Maccabees, it's in Second Maccabees in the second chapter. So when I tell you that this book jumps in and out of time and things are not going to be laid out in order for you, we mean that, right? So if you read this second chapter, you're going to see a lot of stuff going on. He's kind of going to break down some things, and then he kind of lets you know, like it talks about the author. It says the exact handling of every particular and laboring to follow the rules of the abridgment. It tells you how they compiled the book of Maccabees, and it took a lot of labor, right? Verse 31, it says, but to use, I don't know what this word say. Let me check. 31. Brevity. Yeah, I'm not used to that word. But to use brevity and to avoid much laboring of the work is to be granted to him that will make the abridgment. So this book, it's like because it's so rich with history and events and battles and information, political affairs, sedition, rebellions, underhand things that's going on, betrayal, backstabbing. It has so much of that going on, and even still, they can't compile everything that actually happened in these, or this book could be 10 volumes long. So it ends up being us who they give us the key points, and you got to go in there and dive in there a little bit deeper. Anyways, it says here, then will we begin the story. So now he's finna start breaking down what happened in this time, only adding thus much to that which have been said, that it is a foolish thing to make a long prologue and to be short in the story itself. So he said, look, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into what's going on in the book of Maccabees. I'm gonna tell y'all the story, the events that happened in the book of Maccabees, that happened in this time period, because it's a foolish thing to make a super long prologue and then the story be short. So he kind of wrapping up this damn prologue. Look, so let's go ahead and get to it. This is in Second Maccabees, the second chapter. You would think that the prologue would be in the front, in the very beginning, before you read anything about the book of Maccabees. But by the time you see that it's a damn prologue and he, telling you some of the things that's going on, you already then read First Maccabees. So, as much as we would like to just jump right into Maccabees and start reading with y'all, we thought it would be better, mind you. We got Feast of Dedication, Feast of Rededication. If you don't know what that's about, that's when we had our enemies, the Greeks, namely Antiochus. You're going to hear his name a lot, Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth. You're going to see his name all throughout Maccabees. We're going to use his name all throughout Maccabees and this introduction. And if we move forward and breaking down certain chapters in Maccabees, getting in the spirit of rededication, all right, because that's a high holy day that Hamashiach kept. That's a high holy day that our forefathers kept, and we're supposed to keep it. So that's coming up. With that being said, we're going to start, through the spirit, breaking down some of these chapters, getting in the spirit of our brothers, the Maccabeans. And actually, I think it'll be fitting for me to kind of introduce them too. So we introduced a few things about the book. It's rich with information, so much information. but it can be confusing because of how the book is in order. It's not in order. How the book is not in order, which isn't a problem. It's the glory of kings to search out wisdom. So these are some names. So we're introducing certain things that you want to be aware of, certain people you want to take note of, and we'll start diving into some more information here in a second. All right. So the Maccabees is crazy. So I'll start at verse 1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the son of Jorib from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. So you had a man named Mattathias. He is actually from the tribe of Levi. He's a priest, and he's dwelling in Modin. That's the city that him and his sons were at. It says, and he had 5 sons. Johanan, called Cadius. It says Simon, called Thassi. You got Judas, who was called Maccabees, right? Eleazar, called Aran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphias. It might sound a little bit different in here. I'm not used to the crazy 1611 English, so my pronunciation might. Okay, so that was Avaran. Okay. Anyways, he had 5 sons. All of his sons was mighty. So you're gonna need to know Eleazar, Jonathan, Judas, Simon. You're gonna need to know all of his sons, right? Because we're gonna talk about them more. So, and obviously Mattathias, their father, he was mighty through the Spirit, mighty. So we got a few of the basics. We got Mattathias, his sons. Those are, you got to know those names. You got to know them. You got Alexander the Great. If you don't know who Alexander the Great is, then you're going to find out, because you got to know who Alexander is. So Alexander, I'm not going to go in great detail. Alexander the Great, he was the king of the ancient kingdom, the Greeks. He was a Greek king. He succeeded his father Philip. You don't really need to know all of that right now, but it's going to go with First Maccabees, chapter 1. So this is the time period that we're going to talk about. It's in the time of the Greeks. Aharon like to go into this too. And then I'm going to go, we got the Diadochi I want to introduce. We might have to slow it down because it's already a lot of information. It's already a lot of information. And I don't want to go too fast to where y'all don't actually soak up some of the things I'm saying. I don't want to go too fast to where y'all don't soak up some of the things I'm saying. I'm going to swing it to Aharon for a second.
Okay, cool. All right. So I am finna read from the Britannica to give us a little bit of information on the Maccabees and the history and just what's going on, right? It says Maccabees, also spelled Maccabees, flourished 2nd century BCE Palestine. Priestly family of Jews who organized a successful rebellion against the Seleucid ruler Antiochus and reconsecrated the defiled temple of Jerusalem. So this is just what Mohar was talking about, right? All of those things we'll get into detail later on. You know what I'm saying? It's just an overview, just so you know kind of what's going on. This is a priestly family, and they held a rebellion against the Seleucid ruler. If you're not familiar with the Seleucids, like he said, it goes back to the Diadochi, which ties to Alexander, right? Let's keep reading the historical context of the Maccabees. The name Maccabee was a title of honor given to Judas, a son of Mattathias, and the hero of the Jewish Wars of Independence, 168 through 164 BC. So we were fighting for our independence, right? It says later the name Maccabees was extended to include his whole family, specifically Mattathias, his father, and Judas, four brothers, John, Simon, Eleazar, and Jonathan. Its use was also extended to John Hyrcanus, Simon's son, who was next in succession. So if you know about me and Mahar, if you've seen any of our past videos or past lives, we went over John Hyrcanus. I'm actually a fan of John Hyrcanus to a certain extent, right? He put Edomites in captivity, right? Made them serve type deal. Um, we just read Mattathias the father and his four sons, right? We just read that in Maccabees. So pretty much everything, a lot of information that these historical sources are getting, they're pulling from the book of Maccabees, right? This is real history. This is not, this isn't just like the rest of the Bible, right? None of this is spooky. None of this is made up. You don't got to be super in the faith to understand these things. This is all history. That's what it is, right? The I believe it's called the Hasmonean dynasty was the dynasty that the Maccabees ruled, right? It says there is no unanimity. I believe that's what it's called. Unanimity about the meaning of the title Maccabee. The Hebrew may be read as hammerer, or extinguisher, since Judas held the initiative in the long war against the Syrians. He was probably regarded in the same light as King Edward I of England, who was known as the Hammer of the Scots, right? So it looked like supposedly they got this title, from, I guess, the King of the First. I don't know, right? How my elders taught it was uh Judas was given his name because he dealt hammer-like blows on the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? He was a big brother. These brothers was about war, right? That's what they were about. They were about war and serving the Most High God. It says throughout the 2nd century BCE or BC, the city-state of Jerusalem, Judah lay between the two great powers of Egypt and Syria. The Ptolemies ruled in Egypt and the Seleucids in Syria. This is key. The Ptolemies go back to the Diadochi. The Seleucids go back to the Diadochi. Or some people like to pronounce the Diadochi, right? It just means the successors. Who are they the successors of? They are the successors of Alexander the Great, right? First Maccabees tells us this. Daniel chapter 8, I believe, tells us this, right? I believe it's Daniel chapter 8. I'm going to keep reading. This is where Judah was in the middle of all of this, right? Because the northern kingdom, they was already going. So, you kind of got Judah and Levi. We were in the middle of all of this madness. And, they trying to fight over us. And so the Seleucids came in. This is why we have the rededication of the temple. The Seleucids came in, defiled our temple with idolatry and madness and pork and all types of things, right? Is our stuff that we're going to dive deeper in. It says these were residual states that had been left with Alexander the Great's empire, broke up about 20 years after his death. Antiochus ruled Syria from 175 to 164/163 BC. He carried the substitute name Epiphanes, a Greek word meaning God manifest. So if you don't know anything about Antiochus, Antiochus was a proud man.
He thought he was a demigod.
Yeah. We can see by the surname that he was given, Epiphanes, a Greek word meaning God manifest. He believed that he was God manifested. That's the pride that this Edomite had, right? All right, so I'm gonna keep reading. It says a conqueror of overweening pride. See, look, I just got done saying that, right? Mind you, I've never read this article before. I just went here because I was like, Britannica is a pretty good source. right? But how do I know these things? Maccabees tells us. Daniel tells us. I've already studied the Bible. Everything these scholars and already put in here, I already know about it because the Bible tells me that, right? I'm gonna keep reading. A conqueror of overweening pride, as he is described in the book of Daniel in the Bible. We didn't make this up, right? If the Bible's not a legitimate source, why they going to it, right? In Christianity, we were taught that the Bible is nothing but mythology, fairy tales. It's nothing real. You just gotta have faith in it and believe it. No, these are historical texts. That's what the Bible is. Historical text. They tell the past, they tell the present, and they tell the future. That's what the Bible is, right? Let's keep reading. It says he set out to seize Judea or Judah, which until then had been a province of Egypt. He aimed, moreover, to unify his vast and heterogeneous empire behind the worship of Zeus, and therefore severely restricted the practice of Judaism, whose strict monotheism impeded the realization of that policy. So I want to dive into this, right? Antiochus Epiphanes wanted everybody. This is what we know as the Hellenization period. Hellene going back to Greek, right? Meaning he's going to turn everybody into Greeks. He wants everybody to be Greeks. That means their practices, their worships, their daily life, their language, their everything to be Greek. He Hellenized the world, which included us. Therefore, like it says, it severely restricted the practice of Judaism. Now we know the Judaism practices is keeping of the Torah, right? It's original is keeping of Torah. And it says whose strict monotheism impeded the realization of that policy. Now our people technically didn't believe in monotheism. I believe it was monolatrism. I believe is what it was. Let me fact check that real quick. Let me fact check it real quick. Okay, cool. Monolatrism refers to the belief that there may be more than one deity, but that only one is worthy of being worshipped. Exactly. That's what our people got down with. We didn't deny the existence of other spiritual powers and gods and deities and so on and so forth. We didn't deny that. But we only worshipped one God. We didn't worship Zeus. Our forefathers didn't know Zeus. So damn it, that means we don't know Zeus. Right? Our forefathers didn't get down with Athena. We didn't get down with Apollo. We didn't get down with none of that, right? Which the Greeks, they had a whole pantheon of idols to worship, whereas our forefathers did not worship them, right? We did not get down with that worship. Mohar, you here? Did you want to add before I keep going? Brother ain't in here. Brother ain't in here, man. It's all good, right? It says in Antiochus' day, the Syrians were devotees of the culture of Greece. Antiochus sought to continue what he regarded as the civilizing colonization process of Alexander. For him, culture meant the pursuit of the good, the restless, inquiring, creative spirit of Greece. What might today be called the scientific spirit was based on the assumption that man is the measure of all things. So this is where we get a lot of their idols, right? If you look back in ancient days, a lot of idols were creepy, monstrous looking beings, right? They were weird. They kind of, some of them were animals, some of them weren't animals. But the Greeks, the way they got down, when you go look at their gods and their idols, they made themselves gods and idols, right? Like if you know anything about the zodiac signs, the zodiacs, that comes from Canaanite religion, right? That originally derived from the Canaanites. But when you look at the Greeks, they took it and they put their gods on it, and they made their gods to be men like them. This is why you always see a statue of them, and somebody's naked, and the guy's rod is out, and that's because it says man is the measure of all things, right? It says the Jewish view, I'm gonna keep reading. The Jewish view of life, on the other hand, was totally in opposition to that of the Hellenism that had spread throughout the Middle East. Like I said, during this time, you need to get yourself familiar with the term Hellenism and Hellenization and Hellene. All that goes back to Greek and them forcing other peoples to be Greek. This is a big part and a big role in the book of Maccabees. They took this out of they took Maccabees out of the Bible. Why? Because in the Bible, Paul says to the Jew first, then the Greek. Why would he say that? Because there were Jews that had become Greeks. They had converted to Greek. This is why they took it out of the Bible, right?
Mm,
Meanwhile, we see even the Britannica, all these scholars adhere to the Maccabees. They adhere to it. It's solid. Did you want to get in there? My bad. Go ahead.
yeah, every scholar, let me not speak so assuredly. Most scholars adhere and know how legit the Book of Maccabees is. You can't disprove the legitimacy of it. It's too solid. That's all.
Kind. So I'm gonna keep sit down. Sit down. Look. All right. So I'm gonna keep reading. Nuh-uh. I'm gonna keep reading. It says, it too was a total way of life one lived in accordance with the Jewish people believed was revelation. They regarded Hellenism as a form of nature worship. They saw it as the spiritual continuation of the religion of the Canaanites, who had presented their views against Israel for all the centuries since the days of Joshua. And like I said, I didn't read this beforehand. I just got done saying how the Greeks took I believe they called the zodiacs, right? The zodiac signs. That was just one example. But we see even right here that the Jews regarded the Greeks the same as the damn Canaanites religion, right? It says they were against that Antiochus. I don't know if that's supposed to say against. It says Agast, Aghast. I've never seen that word. I'm not gonna lie.
I ain't seeing it either. That looks sus.
That looked nasty. I want to know if it's a word or not though, because it may. Let me see.
It gotta be. They were aghast that Antiochus encouraged the Semitic peoples of the Mediterranean.
Okay. It says filled with horror or shock.
Okay. I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah, they were aghast that Antiochus encouraged the Semitic peoples of the Mediterranean coast, talking about the Jews, to regard him as the ancient god of Baal of the Canaanites. The Canaanite gods, they asserted, were merely the mythologizing of the anger, hate, lust, envy, and greed of unregulated human hearts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. This is how wicked this man was. A lot of you keep seeing Antiochus because a lot of what the Maccabees has to do is surrounded about and around Antiochus and the Greeks. This is why we're going through this. It's literally a fight between the Jews and the Greeks. The Maccabees versus the Seleucids, right? That's what a lot of this about. It says, Israel, its prophets proclaimed, was the chosen instrument of the transcendence God, whose name was Yahweh. Yahweh was utterly other than human. That is to say, he was holy. It was God who had created humanity. I don't want to touch on what they talking about right there because it's not going into the book. Let me see. It's not going into Maccabees. Okay, let's see. Pro, prohib, prohibition of the Jewish religious practices says this concept or Salaki, this conception of revealed religion and of loyalty of the word of God rather than to a human king, Antiochus could not appreciate, particularly since he himself delighted the name God manifest. So he didn't like the fact that we didn't worship our king, we worshiped our God. Whereas the Greeks, them niggas idolized their king. They idolized their kings. Antiochus didn't like that. Like the fact that we was like, nah, nigga, you just a man. We worship the one true living God. And he didn't get down with that, right? So it says, in order to extirpate the faith of Israel, therefore he attacked Israel's religious practices. He thus forbade the observance of the Sabbath and of the traditional feasts, for these had been ordained by a jealous or intolerant God. All sacrifices were to come to an end. He forbade the reading of the law of Moses and gave orders to search out and burn any copies that could be found. This is the stuff we don't learn in church. This is the stuff that they don't teach in schools. They don't go through. They don't go through these things. They don't talk about this. This is the beginning of Hellenism. This is the beginning of the Maccabees. This is the base and the foundation which made God raise men up like the Maccabees family to revolt against this wicked man. This is the base. When you understand this, when you understand the base, when you understand the roles that these people have, the book of Maccabees is going to become easier to read. When you understand Mattathias, when you understand his sons and their role, and then you understand what how they're going about war. And then when you understand the enemy, when you understand Antiochus and where he stems from, where does Antiochus stem from? When you understand what is his goal, why is he doing this? What is the meaning of this? Right? And then you throw a little bit of prophecy in there. You throw a little bit of Daniel in there. All of these things are going to be a lot easier to understand and a lot easier to follow. Go ahead, King.
And the more you understand about this time period, the easier the New Testament becomes to understand. Because it rolls right in. I mean, this is right before Hamashiach hit the scene. Right before Hamashiach hit the scene. So you'll understand who Herod is and how he came into power. You'll understand why Paul is teaching the way he teaches. Why is Paul talking about the Greeks when in his time it was the Romans ruling? So the more you start to understand about this, the more you'll understand the Bible in the New Testament, right? I yield.
Khan. Exactly, right? I am going to keep well, let's talk about this real quick. This is he forbade the observance of the Sabbath day. He forbade the observance of traditional feast. He forbade the reading of the law. He forbade that. He was against that. It was no, you can't do that. You do that, you'll be punished, right? And we'll read those punishments whenever we get into that, or they might speak on it, right? Let's keep reading. It says he forbade the practice of circumcision, for it was this that set the Jews off from other peoples as the one people of God. This is important. This is important. This is important for us to know as a people today. right? We deem circumcision as holy. It's holy unto our people, right? Other nations did have circumcision, but not in the sense that we did. Egyptians had circumcision, but the manner in which they went about circumcision, they got circumcised as adults, and they circumcised their women. That's madness. That's off, right? Um, but Paul speaks a lot about circumcision, right? Because a lot of people weren't circumcised. Why? Because Antiochus had forbade it. We'll get into that another later day, right? It says, in place of these practices, Antiochus encouraged the development of cultural clubs called gymnasia, in which people gathered to study, to learn, and to enjoy each other's company. They enjoyed each other's company, all right. They definitely enjoyed each other's company. When you go into that word gymnasia and you go literally into the root of which what these niggas was doing, it's a place of working out naked. It's the same spirit in the gym today. It's the same spirit in the damn gym today. You go work out, you kind of look to your left, shorty over there, kind of, everything showing. Look to your right, brother over there with his shirt off, and he kind of got the hoochie daddies on. He got the hoochie daddies on, and he's spotting his brother and his junk all in his brother's face. It's the same spirit going on today, which is why it says they enjoyed each other's company. You think Antiochus just wanted the people to come gather to study and learn and enjoy each other's company? You think that's what he wanted? Yeah, man, you can just come study our books, and it's kind of like a coffee lounge, and you can kind of just relax and chill, bro. No, no. These men and women were, if you look in the books, I don't care what history book you look at, you always see that these niggas was naked, which is a total violation of our religion. Our people always covered ourselves from head to toe, men included. We always covered ourselves. We were a modest people. We are a modest people. The hell you got? I don't got to show all my business off to everybody. For what? I don't have to do all of that. But like I said about the Greeks, how they viewed themselves, remember they idolized themselves. This is why you see the sculptures of them with their rods, man. They rods just all out, man. It's madness. It's madness. I'm gonna keep reading. It says after competing in the various forms of athletics, aka I believe the Olympics. I believe the Olympics was starting to ramp up around this time. This is when you got the gladiators and the damn people fighting lions and bears, and you got the discus throws. I believe all of this stuff was starting to ramp up during this time, right? Various forms of damn entertainment, right? It says men and women used to soak themselves in hot baths, but because the pursuit of the good included a delight in the body beautiful, such as activities were performed naked. Bingo. There it go. All of these things was performed naked. You kind of got to go out in a wrestling match in the Brother Johnson out. And you got to fight him to the death. And you got to stand over him and cheering victory with your stuff out. While everybody is watching and everybody is excited and everybody's happy. The Greeks is nothing but a start of the worshiping of pleasures, man. It's nothing but just an excellent start of worshiping of pleasure, worshiping your damn flesh, submitting to your damn flesh, right? I'm gonna keep reading. It says a circumcised Jew taking part in the games in a gymnasium could not therefore hide where his loyalty lay. Finally, in 168 BC, Antiochus invaded Jerusalem and desacralized the Holy of Holies, talking about the temple, in the temple. This was the one place on earth about which Yahweh said, "My name shall be there," referenced in First Kings. It says a number of Jews under their leader Jason the high priest took the easy way of conformity, meaning they conformed. It says with the new universal trends. Universal mean everybody had to do this. Everybody was going to be one people, right? Which it says in the book of Maccabees. It says, but with Antiochus stop, boy. It says with Antiochus impious act or impious act, a strong general reaction set in. Thus when later in the same year Antiochus again entered Jerusalem, this time plundering and burning and setting up his citadel, the Acra, on the hill overlooking the temple courts, he went too far for his final act of spite on December 25th. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. This is gonna strike some Christians. This is gonna cut some Christians, man. His final, check this out. His final act of spite towards who? Towards the people of God and towards God himself on December 25th, 167 BC, was to rededicate the temple in Jerusalem to the Olympian god Zeus. That's what's happening on Christmas Day, right? That's what happened on Christmas Day. This nigga went in and defiled the temple of God, which you on Christmas Day want to sit here and say Christ was born on. The Bible speaks nothing about that. I don't even know if he was born in the winter, right? But you want to turn into, you want to Holy Mary, Queen of Heaven Mary, and she gave birth to baby Jesus, and he was born in a manger, and they want to tell the same played out story on damn December 25th. And they got two white people up there. They got Joseph as this mangly ass white man, and mother as this sorry, crunchy looking white woman, right? And they kind of give birth to Christ, and a few moments later he come out with a soft beard and delicate ass hair, and he's kind of smiling, and that's not it, right? On December 25th, this is what was going on. This nigga put swine in our holy of holies temple, and he rededicated it to the Olympian god Zeus. That's what's happening on December 25th, not the birth of Christ. You want to get in there? My bad. I got irritated.
Nah, you heating up. Go ahead.
I got irritated, but I was madness. That's folly, right? It's a couple niggas that's gonna want to get down on December 25th this year, right? That's madness. I got my candlestick up. I lit my candlestick yesterday trying to get in the spirit, right? I put in the chat, niggas better be getting ready for feast of dedication like they was about to for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? You'd have been, your Christmas tree would have been up, right? You would have had the decorations. You would have had damn Jingle Bells music playing in the background every time you open the door. You would have got real lit for Christmas. But you come into the truth and you kind of, take all of that off. Not jolly spirit. You take the folly spirit off, and then, you kind of, well, I'll just wait for dedication to light my menorah, man. And, yeah, it's going to be fun. Man, the hell with that. I'm getting in the spirit this year. I'm finna have damn so-called stars of David, or if you want to call it the lily. I'm going to have lilies around my house. Lord willing, I'm going to just get lit, right? I'm turning up. I want to find a big menorah, something fat. Light that thing up. Something that take oil and not candles, right?
Something that'll keep your house warm, huh?
Something that'll keep your house warm when it's cold at night. That's what I'm trying to get down with. I'm going to keep reading. The Jewish resistance, right? What are we reading about? We're reading about the story of the Maccabees. This is a brief overview because when we actually get and dive into the book of Maccabees, it's going to be so much more detailed work we got to do. But before we get the detailed work, you got to know the foundation. You got to know what's going on. You got to have some kind of overview. Okay, damn, this is what's going on over here. I remember him talking about Antiochus, and I remember them going into the diet. I remember them going to the successors, and then they were talking about this, and this happened with the temple, but where did it happen? I'm kind of reading, but I don't see it yet. And
Heat up
trust me.
then.
You said what?
Heat up then.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All of this goes back to the Maccabees in the scriptures, man. Right? Let's keep reading. Jewish resistance. The home of Mattathias, a priest. So this brother's a Levite. In the village of Modin, right? 17 miles northwest of Jerusalem, quickly became the center of resistance, right? It says, with him were his 5 sons. John Gotti, I believe is how you pronounce it. Simon Thasai, Judas Maccabeus, Eleazar Avaran, and Jonathan Epiphus. It says Flavius Josephus, if you never heard of him, I was finna tell you, the Jewish historian, gives Mattathias' great grandfather the surname Asmoneus. From this title comes the name Hasmonean that was applied to the dynasty that descended from the Maccabees in the following century. I told y'all that earlier, how they didn't teach us about the Hasmonean dynasty, how we had rulership again, right? This is what was going on, the Hasmonean dynasty. It says Maccabees in the following century. Mattathias sparked the resistance movement by striking a Jew. What? That don't make sense. If you've never read this story, what the hell? How did he spark a damn resistance by striking a Jew? Make no damn sense. What are you talking about? I'm gonna keep reading. Mattathias sparked the resistance movement by striking a Jew who was prepared to offer sacrifice to the new gods, and by killing the king's by new gods, and by killing the king's officer who was standing by. So this is what Mattathias did. The king's officer came down and said, sacrifice to the king and the idols. Obviously he didn't say idols, but I'm calling them idols. Sacrifice to the king and his idols. And I kind of pictured there was, you kind of got the king and his men on one side, and you got Mattathias, his sons, and a couple Jews on that side. Mattathias like, nah, we're not going for that. And you got this wicked ass Jew that kind of step out and kind of swing his arm. Hey, well, that don't sound too bad. I can kind of, and as he's walking over there, Mattathias strike him down, kill him. It goes in detail, even much more in the book, about how he was so filled with rage and anger towards this man.
Zeal.
There we go. Zeal.
And
It
you
was
probably
hot.
got the coon. He's saying, if let's just do it so we don't die.
Yeah. Let's just kind of get down with it, man. I don't really want to make enemies, man. And it don't seem too bad, bro. They kind of having fun over there, bro. While he was walking his little goofy ass over there, Mattathias struck him down.
God knows my heart.
Yeah. God knows my heart, man. It's just Christmas, man. And it really goes back to the birth of Christ, bro. Our forefathers would have struck you down, right? Quickly.
Our forefathers, our mighty forefathers, let me not speak so openly like it's every single one of our forefathers. Our righteous forefathers, they would have chose death than break the law.
Yeah. Exactly.
They would have chose death than not serve the Most High God with all their heart, with all their mind, with all their soul.
Yep.
And
And Mattathias, my bad, go ahead, King.
Salakia, real quick. And that's the kind of spirit that we gotta build up. That's the kind of mentality that we gotta build up. Because it's easy to say, like, I love the most I got with all my heart, with all my mind, with all my soul. But living that, that's a different level. Salakia. It's on you.
Nah, you straight. And Mattathias, like he keeps saying, he was a priest. This man knew the law. He knew he was going to be justified in striking this man down. Ain't no way. Ain't no way in hell you finna do this in front of me. And in the midst of striking him down, he looked at the king's officer. You know, it's reminding me of that damn 300 movie. You know, he like, man, you know, you can't kill the messenger. This is not how it's done. That nigga looked at him and said, well, nigga, this is Sparta. And kicked his ass down the tunnel.
Boom!
Kicked his ass down the tunnel. You know?
Now the movie's starting.
Yeah. Now it just started. Same thing with Mattathias. He kind of looked at the officer looking at him, and Mattathias struck him down as well. This is the start of the so-called Jewish revolt.
Bro.
Go ahead, King.
Immediately, Mattathias was wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He had to get on. He was on the run. They were trying to kill him. So he grabbed his 5 sons and they left everything they had. Everything they had. And on top of that, he said, if anybody want to serve the Most High God with all their heart, with all their mind, and with all their soul, come with me. And then they withdrew to the mountains to go serve God. Come on now. That's hot.
Niggas dipped into the damn mist.
That's hot.
We out of here.
We out there. He was wanted like Hamashiach.
Mm-hmm.
When you really serve God, it's gonna come a point in time where you want it, and they want to kill you. The scriptures they speak on that too many times to not believe it, to not consider that, to not think about that. You on this walk and you on this journey. If that's something that you can't deal with, you know, it's either you better start getting to the point where you can deal with it, or you're not gonna make the cut.
This ain't for you, bro.
This ain't for you, and this ain't a phase or a good, you hear because it's you're for your people and it's fun, and it's not that kind of vibe. It's real life, reality, and you come into the truth, and it's sweet. It's sweet as honey, and it feels good. You learning who you are. You learning who your people are. You learning how to treat your people. You learn that you kings and princesses, royalty, rulers, judges, God's favorite. You're holy. You're supposed to be set apart. It's sweet. But then reality kind of sets in because you grow in wisdom and you start understanding that these people gonna want to kill us. That's what happened to the Maccabees. That's what happened to the Hasmonean dynasty. That's what happened to Judas Maccabeus. That's what happened to Mattathias. That's what happened to Simon. That's what happened to Mashiach. That's what happened to Paul. That's what happened to Peter. That's what happened to the apostles. That's what happened to the prophets. That's what happened to Moses. That's what happened to Abraham. So if you in here and you're not balancing out the sweetness with the bitterness, then it's going to come upon you and you're not going to know how to deal with it. So prepare your spirit for those days too. Salakia, it's on you.
God, you're right. It's all good, man. These niggas were prepared for battle at any given time. That's what you're gonna know about the Maccabees. They wasn't no cowards, man. I'll tell you that right now. You pulling up on them and you an enemy, you better be ready to fight. And they didn't care about death. They knew about the resurrection. They didn't care about death. Nigga, I'm finna fight to the death. I'm not finna eat no pork though. And that's how they got down. That's how they got down. They was zealous for the law of the Most High God, which you have to be zealous for the law of the Most High God. You got to be zealous for Him and His Son, right? Let's keep reading. It says, then he and his family took to the hills. Many joined them there, especially the Hasidians, a pious and strict group deeply concerned for the law of Moses. These at first refused to fight on the Sabbath and at once lost 1,000 lives. We're going to read more about this in the book. These men refused to fight on the Sabbath day. They got attacked on the Sabbath day. Like I always say when I speak on this, I'm not going to call these brothers foolish. I'm not going to call these brothers. I'm not going to say they lack wisdom. No, they thought what they did was righteous. I wouldn't tarnish their name, right? But they did die on the Sabbath day. I'm gonna keep reading. It says Mattathias then insisted that all groups of resistors should fight if required on the holy Sabbath. The guerrilla war that followed was as much a civil war as a war of national resistance. Mattathias treated all degrees of collaborators with the same bitterness as he did the Syrian enemy, talking about the Greeks. No matter, it was just as much a civil war as it was a war with the damn Greeks. If you have the mind of a Greek and your ass is too far going, Mattathias is going to kill you. And that's what he's instructing his sons to do. You a breaker of the law. You're in the gymnasium, you kind of working out naked and you kind of get down with their games. You're not circumcised, you know. What else come along with that? You're not keeping the Sabbath day holy. You're eating pork now and you didn't used to. Well, you gotta go, bro. And we coming upon them days right now. We coming upon them days when you're gonna see a band of Israelites walking and your ass is in a world full of iniquity. You now become a threat. You've now become a threat. We ain't trying to hear, oh, this man, you know, I'm a Christian, bro. Nah, what do you get him out of here? Get him out of here. You a threat. We don't know if you with the damn government. We don't know who you with. You're not with us. That's with any group. If you're not with us, you are hostile. That's everybody. Right? Until proven otherwise. Let's keep reading. After the death of Mattathias, Judas Maccabees, the third son, became the leader of the resistance movement. In his first battle, he seized the sword of Apollonius, governor of Samaria, the general leading the opposing army, but he was also a man of faith in the God of his fathers. He saw himself as a charismatic, divinely appointed leader like Gideon of old. He would pause in his guerrilla tactics to assemble his men to watch and pray and to read the Torah together. This is the kind of Tom Judas on. This is why he the leader. In the middle of war, all right, y'all, let's sit down real quick. Everybody calm down. Bring out Moses. And they kind of read where it says the Lord is going to go out and fight our battles for us. What more inspiration do you need? Sit still, for I'm going to fight your battles for you. Fear not, right? Because in the law, if you are a man of war and you're in war and one of you are scared, the law says leave. You do not need to be here if you are scared. If you have any amount of fear in you, you do not need to be here. You're only going to get your brothers killed. Leave. And they kind of reading that. And Judas kind of looking around the room. Any of you niggas scared? And all the men kind of chuckle. This is. I'm sorry. I envision my forefathers like this. They kind of chuckle around. Scared of what? Nigga, scared of who? The only mighty man I see is on my team. What was there to be scared of? And they kind of, sharing a glass of wine. They moving the flagon of wine around and they, getting their hearts prepared for the next fight. Right? Let's keep reading. It says Judas saw his task as the successor of Moses and Joshua. This is what was going through Judas' head. Why? 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 Right? This is for my OT only brothers. There ain't no other savior, bro, beside the most high God, bro. And no man can be no savior, bro. It's only God, bro. Let me see if I can find this precept. Mahar, is it Nehemiah 9 or 8? Mahar, you here? This brother ain't even here. It's cool.
Yeah, I wasn't here. What's up now?
Uh,
I broke up. It broke up. I can't hear you.
Nehemiah 9 is for my OT only brothers, right? Because
Hold
it
on.
says that Judas.
It broke up. I couldn't hear you.
You said what?
Man, this is going crazy right now. Was you trying to say something to me?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. What was the last thing you heard?
Mahar, he ain't even here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna just continue, right?
Time.
Like it says, Judas saw his task as the successor of Moses and Joshua. And I said, why? Right? And I said this for my OT only brothers, because they ain't no other saviors beside the most high God, bro. And no man can be a savior, bro. Right? So why is Judas seeing his task as the same of Moses and Joshua? Let's read it. Nehemiah 9 and 27. Therefore thou deliverest them into the hand of their enemies who vexed them, and in the time of their trouble, when they cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven. And according to thy manifold mercies, thou gavest them, who's them? Israel. Thou gavest them saviors who saved them out of the hand of their enemies. This is the task that Judas was tasked with. This is what he believed he had. He had a hand in salvation, the same way Moses and Joshua did, saving his people from the enemy. He had a hand in that. Judas and his brethren and his father, they were saviors. Right? Let's keep reading. It says, remember how our fathers were saved at the Red Sea. He told his men, when Pharaoh with his forces pursued them, then they would blow their trumpets as in the days of Joshua and engage the enemy with renewed vigor. This is what Judas is using to hype his men up with, man. What better place than the law? What better place? Right? It says, moreover, Judas could be as cruel as Joshua was after the manner of his time, and also of his enemies, he was ready to exterminate all the male conquered city. Some of his activities are in accord with what today would be called the rules for holy war, as found scattered in sections of Deuteronomy, and as developed in great detail in one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, written in the century following Judas, now titled The War of the Sons of Light Against the Sons of Darkness. And who the hell is the Sons of Darkness, man? It's the damn Greeks, it's Esau, as it always been, right? But Mahar, what you feeling like, bro? Because we're only halfway through this mug. What you want to call it right there? You want to get in something else? What you want to do?
This is supposed to be an introduction where we introduce concepts, people, situations, um, the times, vocab or words, I should say. Um, I think we introduced a decent amount of information, but there is so much information to cover. I don't know if it'd be more profitable to try and do all of it because you can't. I don't really think we can do introduce all of it because it's that much. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of perplexed.
I'm
Shoot,
kind
I'm
of
telling you,
perplexed.
we read 30 verses. We didn't read a whole chapter. You know, the chapters in the book of Maccabees are 50 plus verses long. Um, and each verse is like multiple lines. Like it's a thick read. That's just me pointing out how much information is really in this book. That's why I'm glad we starting early and we're not trying to crunch in the whole book of Maccabees in Hanukkah. Like, remember the
Yeah,
first year me and you was like, bro, let's read all of Maccabees, you know,
yeah.
on
Each
Hanukkah.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like 3 years ago or 2 years ago when I was at the townhouse. And then last year we ran up a series and it was still just meaty,
Yeah.
super meaty. So we got time. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference this year. We got time. We don't gotta. Yeah. Look, Shawab said we read 30 verses and I was ready to go to sleep because we dove into information. I think the information today was it was plenty. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think the information was plenty. And I think it's kind of on my spirit to talk about it consistently or some more. So I don't think, today won't be the last day we talk about it. So I don't think, they miss anything.
Yeah, I'm definitely down.
Yeah. You was heating up though. You was going into it. I didn't know Britannica was like that though. They was pretty solid on some stuff though.
Yeah, Britannica nasty. This is my main source.
I don't remember being Britannica. Well, I'm gonna put this in my bag though because it was hot. That's hot.
Hell yeah.
Hanukkah. Bro, I gotta go buy me a menorah though. I'm excited for that. I'm
Yeah, man.
gonna put it right here on my desk.
Yeah, man.
You see
Menorahs is so tough, bro.
instead of using my lamp, I'm gonna just use my menorah, bro. Yeah. So
Menorahs is so tough.
how much did you say the big one was?
Big one was like 46, I believe.
$50. It's
Big
worth
one
it.
50
I have
baht.
it.
It ain't bad.
I have it for years anyway. Mm.
True. That's true. I'll mess around and go back
You
and
said,
get it, bro. Next week, I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, we can match, bro. Pull up with your menorah, mine, and I'm gonna buy some franks.
Yeah.
Ooh, some frankincense, some myrrh. On
Yeah.
the charcoal pies. Ooh, what's up, Malachi? You on that?
But I'm
Then
getting
I'm
lit
a
this year.
then I'm gonna crack open the wine.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm gonna
Then
keep my decorations up
oh
damn near
yeah,
all year round. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
menorah.
Got to. He said menorah.
Yeah, I need something else. You know what? I should throw up like the letters that people buy and say like Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday. I should grab more like the letters and just pin them up any kind of way when feast of dedication and just because I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. It's not like I did it for Christmas myself. It was always like someone else, but it's time to get in the spool, huh?
I'm getting spooked.
That way I walk in the house and it smell like Frank's.
It's all on you.
It's all on you. Dang, I get it now.
You
What
ain't
you
got no
saying?
choice.
What you saying? It's starting to make sense, bro. So
Yeah.
that's the plan, bro. I'm gonna buy me some more Franks. He said, I have an all white menorah. So it got to be white now, huh? I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, brother.
When you're an Israelite, you can't really do nothing. I'm sorry, bro. I'm happy for you, bro. And your menorah.
So I'm happy for you, bro.
I'm gonna pin it up here. Bro. I'm excited. Send me a picture.
We're still working on our spirit,
Yeah, I'm still working on my
bro. But I got a new closing precept though. Time to renew my precept.
That's
You ready for it?
Yeah.
It's Ephesians 4:22. It says that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which is after God, is created in righteousness and true holiness. I don't even gotta say nothing, bro. That's it.
Yeah, that's hot.
That's it right there.
That's hot.
That's it right there.
So that's the last one. That's the only one you gonna bring out now.
I may occasionally go back to that First Corinthians and Galatians because them is mean. I'm saying that right now I'm messing with this.
All right. Popping out there. Kind of. It was a pretty good lesson, a good intro to Maccabees. I'm ready to jump in there, actually read some verses, break them down through the spirit, and really, really eat. But I guess we're gonna call it a wrap today. It was a good lesson, like I said. For those of y'all who are keeping the Sabbath today, like we are, all praises to the Most High God. We hope y'all enjoy y'all Shabbat. The last precept that I pull out is Sirach chapter 43 and verse 30. And it says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can. For even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength and be not weary. Man, don't get tired. Why? Because you can never go far enough. So exalt the Most High God, praise the Most High God, serve the Most High God as best as you can. Keep the Most High God's laws, statutes, and commandments as best as you can. With all your heart, with all your might, with all your soul. It's time to get to the next level of obedience and really keeping these commandments, no matter how strange they sound, no matter how hard it might be. It's time to get to that next level of obedience, to really be servants of the Most High. And it ain't nothing better else for us to be doing. And we got to go that hard so our children learn how to serve the Most High. Because if we don't teach them, who will? So with that, we give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.